So g'day all, thanks to TopSport. It's Group 1 preview time again. We're going to have a look at this weekend's Turnbull Stakes at Flemington, and I've got Trevor Lawson on the line. How you going, Trev?
Good, mate.
Normally a good race, the Turnbull, and a good field on paper, as usual. How do you think it sort of stacks up at the moment? I guess firstly, speed-wise, in terms of the map?
So most of the pace is out wide. There's no natural leader.
Yep.
So I thought that Darlasan from the inside will hold its position.
Yep.
And Harlem went forward last start, so they're probably going to go forward from the barrier.
It's right out. It's in 11, I think.
Yeah, and Finch is drawn
15.
15, so it'll definitely go forward.
Yep.
Then I think he'll go forward on Vow and Declare. It's gone forward in the past.
Yeah,
and
so
Very Elegant.
Yeah,
and Very Elegant's the other one. It's gone forward in the past. They went back in the small field the other day. So I thought it might roll forward as well. And then we sort of got Jajango Freeman can roll forward a bit. Actard and Master of Wine will sort of get a good run behind him.
Yep.
Surprise Baby, just depends how many cross Darlasan, but I assume Williams is very good from those inside barriers, holding position. I think he'll probably try and be three-back defence at worst.
Yep.
Then Kingswell Dream of Mapdick going back. It may sort of get caught big midfield. Then I thought Superstorm will go back and King of Lee Grants is drawn sort of barrier 14. It'll go back as well.
So it looks like, there might be a bit of a race from out wide to try to get across.
A little bit. It just sort of depends how quickly they get across. If they get across quickly, and there's sort of not too many wanting to kick up underneath them, it mightn't be that quickly run. But you'd think it'd sort of be genuine at the moment.
It's a 2,000 metre start. Is it?
Over the back, it's actually quite a good start. There's a turn at the slight turn at the 1,600. Then they get round to sort of near the 1,400. So
they've got a bit of room.
It's a bit of room, yeah. They run in a straight line for it. It's a bit similar to sort of the 1,800 at Caulfield.
Yeah.
Where they run sort of things. And our little things on Saturday too will be supposed to be a strong northerly wind, which can hinder the leaders a bit. It's into their face. On the circle, sort of when they sort of come around the corner at the 1,200, sort of into their face there. So, so the map's a little bit speculative, but I sort of, basically think, Finch has definitely got to go forward from the barrier, I would assume, and I'm assuming Harlem will.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Well, all right, we might run through them. Most of these, interesting because obviously not just for this Saturday, but a lot of them are well in the futures markets for the Cox Plate and the Cups and that. So interesting to have a look. Number one is Vow and Declare, $21 at this stage with TopSport.
Yeah, and just a little thing with that is that, so this is a set weights race. Excuse me, set weights and penalties. So you can't actually be penalised for the Cups.
Yep.
So it's the same as, so basically I think once the Cup handicaps come out, the only races you can be re-handicapped in for winning are actually handicaps. So, that's why a lot of the times they stick to the weight for age races and they set weight and penalties races because they can't be re-handicapped.
Yeah, fair enough.
So there's sort of no reason here for anything to sort of, not go 100% with the view that, if they're going to the Caulfield Cup or the Melbourne Cup, getting a re-handicap because they won't be. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
So the top weight, Vow Declare, he was okay first up. He went back sort of over 1,600 and sort of worked home okay, made good ground late. He ran first up in the Australian Cup in the autumn and produced a good figure of sort of 62.5.
Yeah.
He ran first up in this race last year and returned a figure of 61. He got beat sort of 1.7 lengths last year.
Yeah.
When he wasn't sort of fancied. So I've sort of put him in at 61. So what he did first up last year.
Yep.
And at the moment, I've got him around $27.
Yeah.
So I haven't put the map in yet, so the map will change slowly. But yeah, he'll be around those sort of Aussies.
Yeah. Assume the Cup was his peak last year.
Yes. Yeah. So his Cup. Yeah. So returns. So he ran this race last year. Returned 61.
Yep.
So this year he's had one extra run. Then he went to the Caulfield Cup, returned 63, and then he won the Melbourne Cup, returned 64.
Yeah. So he's 56 up, 56 first up this prep.
Yeah, 56 this first.
Is that down a bit on previous preps first up?
Yeah, he did it sort of three preps ago, but yeah, it is a little bit. But it was a sort of different sort of rate. Like it's not his distance.
Yep.
He basically, he won an 1800. Yeah, he basically won his maiden over 2380 metres of Warrnambool.
Okay.
And then he won at Flemington the next start over 1800.
Yep.
So he basically, he's hardly like he's had one, two. He's actually only ever had 3 starts at 1600 or less.
Yeah, okay.
So he's a natural stayer type
Stuff.
thing. So, so I think he'll roll forward from the barrier and got sort of some hope.
Yep. Good stuff. Number 2 is Kingswell Dream, $16 with TopSport at the moment. Looks to have just drifted a touch since opening.
Yeah, so he won this race last year, third up. Which he's third up. So he resumed in Sydney, and then he came down and ran in the Mackay Diva, ran 8th. And then he won the Turnbull last year, third up. As I said, this time in, he ran well first up over 1400 at Flemington in the Memsey. And then he basically, when Gadding broke down the other day, he got caught in the backwash and got badly checked. And he sort of, I think sometimes they sort of just switch off the horses. So I'm sort of happy to totally forgive it. He worked home fairly.
Mm-hmm.
His strip's fitter here. He's 7-year-old now. So I've sort of rated him up on what he did the other day, but rated him a length off what he did when winning this race last year. I think that's sort of fair for him, and I've got him $14. So I've got him sort of slide overs.
No worries. The 3's Surprise Baby was the Cup favourite for a long time. I think it actually this week might have just been overtaken by Russian Camelot. But for the Turnbull, it's $5 with TopSport. Yeah,
so last year ran in the Fian, or the race at Moonee Valley, first up and ran 4th, and then went to the Bart Cummings over 2500. So this time in, it's because I think it's qualified for the Cup already.
Yeah.
It's gone first up and ran 2nd, where last start it ran 4th, but it was a different sort of class race, this race.
Yep.
And then he's having the 2,000 metre run. So I'd say this would be his run, and then he'll go to the Cup probably. He ran well. He got back from the barrier. His best figure on my ratings is the Bart Cummings, which was sort of slightly higher than the Cup when he didn't have any luck. So arguably he might have rated higher there. Just thinking probably the 2,000, is a bit short of his best distance. So I've improved him off last start, but I've rated him again a length under those best figures that he's got.
Yep.
Just think because if it was 2,500, a bit better, and I've got him around the $11 mark.
No worries. Number 4's Warning, $26.
Yeah, I thought this would struggle. It sort of was okay first up. He ran behind Russian Camelot in the South Australian Derby, got beat 2.6, and Russian Camelot had much more to give. I think he'd probably this. I don't think he's a Group 1 horse. Definitely, at set weights and penalties.
Yep.
So I think he'd prefer something easier.
No worries. 5's Delisand, $16.
Yeah, it's a funny horse, Dale saying he ran well first up, then he was pretty plain at Moorfield Park. Well, he sort of got back and couldn't win, and he was short price. And then the other day, he went forward, sat outside the leader in the slowly run race. Here, whacked over a mile, whacked away all right. Not 100% at him at sort of 2,000. Jamie Carr goes on, who's riding up a storm, so I've sort of given her a little bonus, and I've got him around the 26 to 1 sort of mark. So got him a bit longer than the market.
Yep. The 6 is Master of Wine, who's $8 with TopSport.
Yeah, I went looking for this horse. First up wasn't sort of suited. Ran much better at Flemington. He sat just forward of midfield, had 3 wide with a cover, and sort of battled away, sort of one pace to the line. He won in his second preparation. He won third up in a restricted. It was a 88 benchmark, but he did win third up at 2,000 metres by a big space at Randwick last year around this time. Then won another race over 2,400, and then in the autumn he won first up over 1,400, and then went and won second up at 2,000 before running fourth in the Queen Elizabeth. So he sort of can do sort of 62 on my scale. Did 60.5, so natural progression of 1 length to 62. So I've rated him 62. I think that's sort of good figure for him, and I've got him around $11. So I've got him slightly longer than the market.
Yep.
Having said that, the market's 120%, and my market's 85. So
yeah. By the time we get to race time, that'll be
they'll trim up
right down.
So I've got him around,
No worries. Number 7's King of Legrand's, another one for O'Brien, $14 TopSport.
Yeah, this seems. There's always been a bit of a spruik on this horse, but he ran well first up.
A good win in Adelaide, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he won the Adelaide Cup, but he ran first up. He ran second to Ryan's Bender, but he did have the minimum. Like he had 54 in an open handicap. And then he went and won second up over 2,600 at Flemington, was a good win. And then he won easily in the Adelaide Cup, but it did beat, he beat Good Idea, which is pretty limited. It's only just an open class horse. It's nice, and beat Shouting the Mob.
Yeah.
There were no household names in the race.
No.
He had sort of 68 days off. And then went to the race in May, where it was also qualified. It's a race that Steel Prince beat Surprise Baby last year.
Yep.
And Ocean X beat him fair and square. So on my scale, he's done sort of 60.5, 61, 60.5. He's won. In Australia, he's won 2 races over 2,600 and 3,200. So, I thought this might, and he's drawn barrier 14 and going to be, get well back. So I sort of took one off his best and marked him $41. And really that's as short as from the barrel I could actually mark him even longer. So, I'm surprised he's such short odds.
Sounds like he'd have to improve a lot to be competitive here.
Well, I think, yes. I definitely won't be on him.
No worries. The 8 is Actau for Mike Maroney, $51.
I sort of got consistent ratings for this horse, but they're not, they're not massive. He won the Mornington Cup, which I think gets him a leg into the Caulfield Cup, so they can bring him along. First up, he was well supported. I had him $9 first up, and the market had him like $3.80, and he was pretty plain. He sort of sat 3 wide, but they didn't go overly hard. He sort of got out at the top of the straight and just sort of one batted to the line. So I sort of rated him about what he sort of can do, and got him 150 to 1.
No worries. At the other end, number 9 is the favourite, Very Elegant, $4.40 with TopSport. And I should say it's Thursday
Yes.
afternoon we're
So
recording this, but it looks to have just been a slight drift early, opened at $4 and now $4.40.
yeah. So her best form is definitely on wet tracks.
Mm.
She won on the heavy tracks back in 2019. She won a 3-year-old race on a, dead track thing. The Sydney track ratings, I sort of don't. I do the ratings, but I don't do the track times just as much as I sort of do down here. So on the database, I've actually got her run at Flemington, at Randwick on the 29th of February. I've got the track as a good 4.
Yep.
And she ran second to Tiako Shark, but they actually ran 133.9. Like they broke 134 for 1600. So I'd suggest that the track may have been, a good track then.
Yeah.
And that was sort of second up. First up, she was terrific. Did a really good job. She got back. She was wide. She sort of ran on home, ran well. Then she had 28 days off, and she was a bit plain the other day, but it over-raced a bit. She was a bit fresh and all this sort of stuff. She has a good record at sort of 14 days. She has a good record at this trip. I just rated her up off the ramp week, up on first up run to sort of 63.5, which, as you can see here, she's sort of done 63s, done 63.5, 63, 64. They were on slow and heavy, 65.
Yep.
So I couldn't go up any more with her.
Yep.
I'm happy just to leave it at that. And it's just surprisingly, I've got her around the market price. I've got her around, by the time I tie it up, it'll be around $485.
Yeah.
And it'll be one of those things, if she's shorter, you're happy not to be on her if you can bet in the race. And if she's longer, you're happy to be on, you'll be on her.
No
but,
worries.
I think that's her price, and just sort of see what happens.
Yep. 10's Ocean X, $41.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, this horse beat King of League, managed to qualify for the Cup. First up, got beat 6 lengths, and then last start got beat 3.7. She's getting fitter, but I thought she was.
What price you got there? I can see 500.
500s, yeah, and it's going to get back. So it'll run. I think it will run. Close to 100 to 1 on Betfair, I would think.
No worries. The 11 is Harlem, $34.
Yeah, he's just an old thief, Harlem. So it's his best form for Flemington, though.
Yeah.
He ran okay the other day. He's the leader here. He hasn't won a race since the Australian, but he won the Australian Cup here, big odds. He'll put himself in the race probably, and it'll be a bit of indictment on the rest of the horses if he can win this race, but he'll be in the right spot, I suppose. So I've got him around $41, I think. So again, be one of those horses that, if he's 50s, 60s on Betfair, you're having something on him.
Yep. The 12 is Finch, $9 with TopSport at the moment.
Yeah, this horse, he's been a good horse. So he resumed off 305 days last year, and ran 5th at Randwick. And then he went and in the second up, he won over 2,000 metres. And then he came here and ran in the Turnbull last year behind Kingswell Dream and was beating a Pimple.
Yeah. He was pretty good in both the Cups too, from memory.
Yeah, then he's basically got beat, a length and a half in both Cups. So he's pretty good horse. And then he's had the 305 days off again. So, normally you would think, the horse had an injury, but I don't know. I'm just thinking that that's what they did with it last year. So maybe they just put it away and just bring it back for the spring and for the distance races.
Yeah.
So first up, he was good. He sat sort of third off a genuine speed and ground home one pace. Just looked like he's just going to look for the trip. So last year in this, so I got him returning 61 first up. He did 61 second up last time in, and then he did 63 and a half those next three runs at sort of third, fourth, and fifth up. Because he's second up here, I just sort of took one off, and I've put him in at 62 and a half and got him sort of $7.50. So I think he represents a little bit of value at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 13's Django Freeman, $19.
Yeah, he might just be a handicap of this horse. It's a bit hard. He was fair first up behind the chosen one, who then went to the Waif Rage race the other day and was sort of well beaten. The market's always sort of rated him well. So, Flemington first up, he was sort of, his first start here was a $13 on bet there. Then sort of second up, he was well supported and $3.70 was and got beat 4 lengths, and then again first up he was $4 and rated down again. So I've sort of rated him to his best figures, which is what he did first up in when he raced here in May, and got him $61.
No worries. 14 is Superstorm from the West, $7.50 with TopSport.
Yeah, he's just a hard horse to sort of get a line on here. I thought he'd be going to the Toorak. He may run in this and then back up next week into the Toorak. He's never been past 1,800.
Okay.
And on my scale, his two best figures are when he ran second in the Australian Guineas and then second up in the All-Star Mile in the autumn here.
Yep.
First up, he wasn't suited. He got back over 1,100, ran on nicely. And then he went to the Rupert Clark and he drew 15 and he just had no luck at all straight. He was actually making pretty good ground through the field and then just got basically stopped in his tracks the last 150. He would have sort of, so now he steps to 2,000, but that 1,400 metre race is probably not going to bring him on as much as maybe it could have, because the last 150 he's basically going to the line under hard held sort of thing. He's not getting the benefit of the run.
Okay.
As I said, on my scale, he's a 62 horse at his best, which is over a mile. He's going to 2,000 for first time, but he's a good horse and he's got a good turn of foot. At the moment, so I've rated him a length off his best, and I've got him $11. So at the moment, I think he's slightly under. And the map doesn't do him any favours either. He's drawn out, so he's drawn 12 or 15, and he basically doesn't have much speed. So I would only mark him longer, if by the time I finish.
No worries. And last of all, 15 is Toffee Tongue, $51.
Yeah, so first up, she was good at over 1,400 in open handicap. And then last start, the same thing behind the chosen one. She got well back. And then she great ground home one pace. It was sort of hard to make ground, so she wasn't really suited there. She's fitter here. She doesn't have a lot of speed, but from an inside barrier, you might be able to sit a bit closer. The distance, she's sort of going up in distance. She's sort of a 4-year-old mare. I sort of just improved her off her first up run and got a sort of $60-something, and roughly that's what she's 50s in the rip at the moment. So I got a sort of $62. So, hard to see it winning, but that's around what price it should be.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, as I said, big gap in the market at the moment, up at 122%. But I think come Saturday, once these get screwed in a bit, and I reckon, you look like you might have a bit of value. Finch for sure, and maybe a few others a bit better odds.
Yeah, I think, sort of very elegant around the odds. It'd be interesting to see what the market does with her, whether they with the dry track. But as I say, I'm happy to, if she's longer, I'm happy to be on, and if she's short, I'm not.
Yep.
I think Finch is good odds. At as long as by then, as long as it's not stamped that you can't sort of, you can't lead or sit outside the leader.
Yep.
And then, I think Surprise Baby's short enough. I think Master of Wine is, around the price I've got it. Position when I sort of put the map in, might be able to get it. The map might have it slightly shorter because you'll sort of push some out from bad draws. And I think Superstorm's probably slightly under the odds as well.
No worries. So, it looks like a bit of value. So, it sounds good. It's a good day of racing anyway, right across the day. So,
so as I say, we've got the Bart Cummings.
Yeah.
There's the Edward Manifold with 3-year-old fillies, some promising fillies coming through there.
Yep.
The last race, the Trivic race, 1,800-metre race, and been some good horses we need over the years.
Yep.
So they're on their way to the Norman Robinson and the Derby. So it's a good race. So it's things starting to hot up now, and I think we had a bit of rain earlier in the week, and we've got 26 or 27 degrees tomorrow, and races at Moonee Valley tomorrow night, and then leading to Flemington as well on Saturday. So it's a good time from now on. And so next week we're into the Guineas, so that'll be another good meeting. So pretty much, basically every Saturday now until, at least until the end of Flemington Carnival, every Saturday is a terrific meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for that. We'll catch up again next week where there's these Group 1s everywhere at Caulfield. So we'll have to get your previews of them. So talk to you then.
Right. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.